What's going on, everybody? Donnie here with another video, and today I'm here with the 5 biggest issues in NHL 19 gameplay, as well as solutions on how to fix those problems. I've made videos like this in the past, so feel free to go check them out and let me know how you feel. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I think most of you will agree with me when I say stick lifts are a huge problem that absolutely needs to be fixed ASAP. There's so much depth that goes into how messed up the stick lifts are. First, you can literally spam stick lift from any position you are in comparison to the player you're trying to stick lift. You can not only not take a penalty about 95% of the time, but you also end up probably stick lifting someone straight through their body. While I know it's not easy to code games, that may be a difficult fix to code the sticks not being able to go through opposing players' bodies. It's gone too far. Stick lifts are legitimately the meta in NHL this year, forcing an inability to create space or protect the puck at all. The next time you go into a game, you can probably spam stick lift against anybody you play. Chances are you won't take more than 2 or 3 penalties, even if you hit A to stick lift hundreds and hundreds of times. It's super frustrating. I'm honestly not sure how it changed so significantly from last year. When last year the penalty rate on stick lifts was pretty high, but you could still use it effectively if positioned correctly. This year, it's a pure mess. Number 2, bumps. I don't understand what the thought process was with bumps, but it's really not the right direction that the game should be going towards. The issue with bumps are pretty easy to see. Not only is there an ability to bump a player off the puck once, you can bump a player as much as you want from essentially any angle depending on player size. There's not much difference between a player with 80 puck control or 99 puck control when you're getting bumped consistently, as the bumps generate the need to make a puck pickup animation, which just simply isn't going to work with how the puck pickups are now. Skating has been slowed down considerably, and the game is now 100% tuned towards players who just want to bump all game. That's an issue because not only does it slow down the game, but if you mix the broken bumps with the ability to stick lift as much as you want, it creates a super wonky game that's unrealistic and quite honestly not good for the community's happiness in the future. Number 3, goaltending. Goaltending is extremely confusing. The issues with goaltending all stem from a lack of pure consistency. Goalies will make insanely acrobatic saves like this one here, but still let in mediocre goals and have issues with littlest bounce of a puck or stopping random shots thrown out from just about anywhere on the ice. In HUT, it's almost a miracle to have a goalie with a save percentage that's realistic, and I've seen a ton of players having to play high scoring games because their goaltenders legitimately let in anything, whether it's a good Rene or Bauer card or a silver goalie that's just in for synergies. It's the same in ESHL as well, as goalies can be in the right spot every single time to still let in garbage goals that they're in line to stop. If they made the goalie desperation saves a little less frequent, and made goaltenders save more short side shots and random shots from the sideboards and point, I think that they'd fix it pretty easily. Number 4, skill zone. The links in the description go to Rick Chell's page, a good pal of mine who posted this video of someone skill zoning him recently. The skill zone is alive as ever, and I'm here to break down why. EA said the skill zone would be super inefficient and unusable in NHL 19, and honestly, I feel like it's more efficient and even more frequently used this year than any year prior. Let's break down the clip and see how they can fix this. Now, my first big issue is AI cutting. The player closest to the net on the left legitimately doesn't move other than to try to get inside position, but if you force that pass, it's not going to get through almost 100% of the time with the skill zoner there. The other player behind him pushes over to the right boards on his offhand, as the defensemen stay where they are. Skill zoning is essentially game breaking, as it basically ruins the offensive AI to the point where they don't move around or rotate at all. As Rick takes it behind the net here, the player from the right moves into the high slot but doesn't try getting into open ice. How's this fixed? Easy. Back to the beginning of this clip, one thing I think EA absolutely could do is just simply improve the offensive AI's cutting mechanisms. When someone skill zone that forces a player into the corner, there's a ton of open ice to cut with 3 guys all setting in the slot. If the guy who cuts to the sideboards instead cut over to the edge of the circle, one of 2 things will happen. Either the skill zone will break down completely and the user has to move, or there's a wide open pass for a one-timer. If the pass is open for the one-timer, it may not get through all the time, but it'll generate a ton of chances. The guy sitting trying to grind in front of the net needs to cut behind the net. There's no use in him forcing his way to sit there in the slot. The defenseman could also use some cuts in the high slot, as they essentially just go from side to side and such the entire time someone skill zones, unless Rick was to skate at them, which would just mess up the entire play and give the skill zoner exactly what he wants. On top of that, there needs to be a penalty for players who do skill zone to encourage them to stop. Force players who skill zone take more penalties, or have the defenseman down low helping the user skill zone, chase, or leave the spot by the net. It's not fair to allow skill zoners to play without any type of penalty, so EA could change how AIs play when the player stands still in the slot the entire game and just fix skill zoning completely. Number 5 is the skate speed / LT, creating the skill gap. After the last tuner, skating ability and LT button were absolutely mangled. They're still both alright, but before, they allowed for a ton of interesting moves and made it harder to play the game, which in turn created a bigger skill gap for everyone involved. Having a skill gap in the game means the better player will win the game more frequently, which is basically all we ask for as fans of the video game. This is generally how it is in other games like FIFA and Madden, with the best player usually winning frequently. With this year's NHL game, you can find yourself losing games you dominate based on the inconsistencies throughout the entire game. That's where skating ability needs to shine through. If you can control your players more efficiently and do a better job finding the open ice with your players, chances are you're going to create more chances and in turn score more. The LT skating allowed for a way to counterbalance the wonky stick lifts and bumps, giving you a chance to protect the puck and evade defenders like a Sidney Crosby would in real life. Without LT shifting straight into the move when you have speed, it's much more difficult to be able to avoid the things that make the game so infuriating. In turn, that lessens the skill gap and allows for the players or team that is worse to win more games than they deserve to win. Having a skill gap is extremely important, and I feel like EA could really have a skill gap if they made some changes to how the game is now. Thanks everyone for watching. Please comment below if you have anything to add to this video and subscribe if you will. It means the world to me. I'll hopefully have another video up tomorrow or Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you all later.